Hi, hello. This is a recording for a demand and supply analysis. So basically, ito po yung gagawin ninyo after you have already collated your surveys and based on that, you can now project your demand. Okay. So that's the demand side. But also, syempre, importante, wala namang sa supply as well kasi syempre kailangan bago natin ma-complete ang demand and supply analysis. Alam mo muna kung sino yung competitor. So that's the the first part sana na ginawa nyo, no? So, okay. So, demand and supply analysis, basically, the objective of that is to identify a demand gap, okay? Or it's what we call demand and supply gap, na which is, meron pang available na space para sa inyo na mag-conduct ng business to that particular local or environment or market, no? Okay. So, dahil pinakamadaling i-discuss dito is the supply. So, discuss ko muna yung supply. So, paano nyo makukompute yung supply figure? For supply figure, I'm going to use the example of eggs kasi yung pinaka-simple, pinakamadali. Tapos later tatalon tayo sa tourism kasi or sa specific service product natin. Okay. So for here, I'm going to use the example of eggs. Okay. So ganito lang yan kasi 'di ba if you watch yung prior video ko, meron tayong tinatawag na addressable demand, target market, 'di ba? Okay. So, sa addressable demand mo or addressable market rather, okay, ito yung space kung saan nag-ooperate yung business mo or firm. Okay. For example, if you're located in a mall, so ang addressable market mo is yung mga taong pumapasok sa mall kasi wala ka ng control or most likely yung mga tao sa nearby establishment or nearby mall, hindi na kailangan pumunta pa siya sa mall ninyo para lang bumili sa'yo. Kasi dun sa mall na yon nandoon na rin eh, may kalaban ka doon eh. So, basically, yung kalaban mo doon is di mo naman talaga eksaktong kalaban kasi yung kalaban niya is yung mga similar products na nag-offer din doon sa mall na yon. Ikaw naman, yung kalaban mo is yung mga nag-exist sa mall nyo mismo. Okay, hindi sa mall ng ibang tao. Now, if you're working naman sa isang environment like Intramuros, sa Intramuros kasi, it's a wall city. So basically, uh, you can plot it as a geographical unit, no? So for that, let's say, magtatayo ako ng itlogan sa Intramuros or magbebenta ako ng itlog or century egg or salted egg or any kind of egg for that example. So for me to know if my business would be profitable, I need to first compute kung ilan yung kalaban ko kasi you have to remember, maraming kalaban, maraming tawag dito challenges kasi may business risk yan, competition. So gusto mo hindi naman wala kang kalaban kasi pag wala kang kalaban mukhang challenging naman yan. Bakit wala kang kalaban? 'Di ba? There is a reason na doon. So gusto mo rin na makakita ng kalaban kahit papaano. Ayaw mo rin naman ng ikaw lang kasi mamaya ako pala yung innovator. Ako pala yung trailblazing. So syempre mahirap patunayan 'yon, no? So ganito gawin natin. Ang gagawin ko muna is of course, I will just ask kung ilan yung or I will search online kung ilan yung mga nagbebenta ng itlog dun sa let's say sa palengke. So sa palengke ng Pritil or palengke um, ng ng Pritil or ng Gagalangin or whatever, no. So, gagawin ko, aalamin ko sa listahan kung ilan po yung mga nagbebenta ng itlog. For example, this one, competitor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, 5 competitors. Now, based on their listing, kasi nga, pwede yung observe yan. Minsan, puntahan mo yung mga pwesto nila, tanungin mo kung ilan yung itlog yung nabebenta nila. Actually, they're going to mention naman yan eh. Or minsan, kahit din, kasi may iba masungit naman. So, gawin mo, tignan mo na lang. So, i-estimate mo or based dun sa laki ng pwesto, pwede mo rin i-estimate doon. So, for example, dito kasi available naman data at normally wala naman sa internet to pag ganyan kababaw naman yung negosyo nyo kasi very practical siya. Pero kung ang negosyo nyo naman, mga day spa, mga spa, mukhang kailangan pumunta kayo sa lugar kasi wala talaga sa internet yan eh. So, kailangan nyo mag-site visit. Kung ang negosyo naman yung mga souvenir, meron naman statistics yan. So, baka pwede natin makuha sa online. Kung wala, syempre, site visit talaga. Wala tayong choice dyan. Diba? Okay? So, dito, dahil hindi nga siya available sa internet, nakuha ko na yung data based doon sa estimation ko. Okay? So, for example, kay competitor 1, so ilan yung number ng layers or what we call yung mga yung layers kasi it means to say yung parang ano siya eh. Trays, no? Trays. Yung para lalagyan ng tray yan. Layers. Okay. So based on that, pwede ko siyang i-divide into this format. Let's say layers, average annual egg per layers. Okay. Animal number of eggs, number of tray. Layers means to say yung hindi pala ano yung lagayan itlog. Mga layers, ito yung laying eggs, ay laying chickens, no? So, ano pala ang business natin? Mga paitlugan ng manok, okay? So, syempre, ano siya, ganyan example ko, no? So, this is the supply. So, ganito karaming itlog ang napoproduce natin every year sa area natin. However, okay, let's say, ang business mo is days pa. Okay. Kasi yung video ko dati parang days pa ang ginamit ko spa. So, ganun din ang gagawin nyo. So, ilan ba sa mall, let's say nakapwesto ko sa mall. So, sa mall na yan, ilan ba yung days pa nag-ooperate? So, if I remember it right, sa example ko, isa lang. Pero may substitute ka, may competitor ka, or parang hindi naman siya competitor na diretso, substitute. Pwede nyo rin ilagay dyan as substitute kasi hindi tayo pwedeng makakita na wala kang competitor, may problema ka. Either hindi mo na-identify kung sino yung competitor mo or hindi mo nakikita, mas threat sa'yo ang substitute. There are certain business na mas threat ang substitute kaysa sa competitor. Okay? So pag ganun ang situation mo, mukhang problematic yan. Okay? So, kailangan po natin makita muna kung sino yung ating mga potential rivals. Okay. For this one, I will list the competitors. Let's say, ang salon ni Aling Tasing. Tapos yung Gupit and Suklay by Reyes. Tapos meron pang Reyes Cutter. Kasi nag-offer din sila ng manicure pedicure. That will be a similar product, no? Okay. So, pwede mo ilagay yung number of hours, number of tao na nakatoka doon. Tapos divided by annually, monthly, or daily. So, ganun ang projection. Pero para madali, gumamit na lang kayo ng annual or monthly na lang kasi medyo, medyo mahirap. Or kung gusto nyo, pwede namang weekly kung gusto nyo ma-project. Okay? So, i-project nyo siya, that will be your supply. Okay, supply. Ngayon, yung supply na yung gagamitin natin later siya to determine if there is a gap sa demand and supply. Okay, for the demand naman, okay, yung supply galing sa competitors, substitute mo, di ba? Or similar company that provides, or literally, pwede rin naman siya yung supplier. Parang ito. Okay. Let's say, ang business ko magtitinda lang ako ng itlog. Hindi ko siya competitor. It would be supplier 1, supplier 2, supplier 3, supplier 4, supplier 5. Kung kukuha lang ako ng itlog. Pero in this case, kasi magkatayo ko negosyo na parang um, itlogan. So mag-ano rin ako ng mga manok na laying eggs, no. So competitor ang tawag ko. So there are many ways on how you do that, no. Pero pinaka easy is mag-base na lang kayo sa competitor kasi we're going to compute for the market supply na available sa market. Not literally the supply. If kung gusto niyo naman literally the supply, syempre kailangan may logic 'yun. Okay? Next. For the demand, by the way, I think I already given you a format. Mas madali yon. So, yun na lang gamitin nyo if you have started it. Kung hindi naman, you can create your own format, no? Ang importante lang naman dito, may percent nyo siya. So, for example, here's the population. So, I'm going to use the population po nung area ko. Let's say my area is around 76,000 person po yung nag-exist. That's the total household of 15,547. So, that's based on the census. Ngayon, syempre, if your business is bed and breakfast, meron po tayong estudyante ang ginawa kung ano po yung nakatira sa Malate, yun po ang kanyang target, yun po yung kanyang population or addressable market. Mali po yun kasi syempre, hindi ka naman natutulog sa area kung saan ka nakatira, di ba? Kaya ka nga may bahay, doon ka uuwi. Kaya ka nga nag-bed and breakfast, wala kang bahay, di ba? So, dapat merong reason uh, bakit ka mag-overnight doon sa area sa Malate. So, perhaps you are the tourist, no? So, mali po yun. Mali pong assumption yun. Very fatal po yun. Okay? So, basically, add nyo lang siya. Add and plus lang siya. Okay? Para saan nyo siya i-add? Kasi let's say yung base mo, add mo yung increase niya, you just basically assume 1%, 1.88%. So paano mo nakuha 1.88%? Okay, that is based on the average growth rate kasi pag in-add ko lahat to, let's say kumuha ako ng projection from 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, dinivide ko siya, add, divided by 5. Okay, that's the average 1.88. So, maaring mas mataas ang average niya, pero I go with the lowest, no? So, parang ganun lang siya. Estimate lang naman siya. So, you can go as flat as 2 or as low as 1.5 if you want. That's conservative. Anyway, that's estimates. So, and then po, you just add the actual base, then assume that there will increase of residents. Okay, so, ayun siya. So, bakit para saan itong purpose na to sa projected population growth or sa projected population growth or projected addressable market growth nyo? Kasi we want to see that your target market or addressable market in certain regards, no, is growing. Kasi ayaw natin ng market or yung sinuserve mong area declining. Kasi ibig sabihin nun, yung capital ninyo, let's say, ang ROI nyo, projected nyo, 10 years nyo marirecoup. Eh kung declining yung population, it does not make sense. So parang di nyo marirecoup yung income nyo. Kasi nga, declining yung bumibili sa inyo. Okay? So, we want to see that there is a growth trend. Katulad nito, may growth siya. Nag-start siya na 15,547. By 2028, nasa 18,000 na siya. Or technically, nasa 19,000 na siya. So, so yun siya. Okay? So, yun po yung purpose nito. Okay? Mapakita lang natin na may growth. Eh, paano sir kung walang growth? At least man lang flat, no? 'Di ba? Okay? So, let's say kung souvenir kayo, syempre, hopefully may growth naman po yung lugar ninyo. Mapakita nyo sana. Kung days pa naman kayo, hopefully may growth or at least certain stability dun sa lugar ninyo. Or, another reason is malakas ang demand. Kasi pwedeng walang growth yung population nyo, that's understandable, as long as stable siya, pero malaki ang demand. Mean to say, may demand na underserved. Meron tayong demand na hindi nasa-serve doon. So, ibig sabihin, kahit hindi lumalaki yung market nyo, pero dahil hindi nga sila nasa-serve, malaking opportunity for us to grow in that particular area. So, tignan nyo to. Kunwari ganito, no? Ang projected population growth ng area ko is 17,000 sa 2022. Is 17,712, no? Pero syempre, ang bibili lang naman talaga dyan is nasa 12,398. Bakit? Kasi hindi naman lahat yan bibili ng itlog eh, or ng tray ng itlog. Kasi most likely iba dyan, meron either hindi kumakain ng itlog or baka hindi talaga sa bumibili ng raw egg kasi maaring bumibili sila ng luto na or other forms like for example yung mga egg powder or literally hindi naman nila kailangan bumili ng itlog na diretso kasi nga either noodles na siya or whatever. No, and then based on my survey, I identified the average frequency of their purchases around 36. So 36 times sila in a year kung bumili na itlog. Okay? Or in a year yon. Now, ang purchase nila is normally hindi naman sa bumibili ng isang tray eh. So 0.4. So it means to say mga around 7 pieces of eggs yan per purchase. Okay. So makikita mo medyo may pagka-retail to, no? So 36 times tapos 6 or 7 pieces of eggs. Tapos based on that, I can now project yung demand natin in terms of trays. Yung trays ko is normally 12 dozen siya. Okay? Or if you want, kasi yung ginamit ko dito is 12 dozen na tray eh. So yun ang pwedeng ano dyan, projection natin. Now, let's say, if my business is service naman, paano yan? Layo naman kasi connection na example mo, sir. Mas maganda yon kasi mas madali siyang computein actually. Okay, let's say kung souvenir ka, o ilang turista, o projected population ganito. Okay, so syempre hindi naman lahat yan bibili, no? So, ilan ba yung napunta sa area na kung saan yun ang pinaka-major tourist attraction mo, yun yung addressable market mo, okay? Now, based sa survey mo, gaano ba ka-importante bumili yun? Or I mean, bumibili ba sila ng souvenir talaga? Based on that, let's say, nag-survey ka na out of 100, ang bibili lang talaga ng souvenir if there is an opportunity or time is around 20. So, out of 100, that's 20. That's 20%. So, yun ang yung ratio. So, basically, pwede mo na i-project, let's say population is 10,000 o 20% na yung bibili pala. Okay. So that will be your annual target market or actual what we called projected target market mo for actual buying. Yung 20% ng tourist population na yun. Pero most likely naman din sa totoo lang tignan nyo na lang yung result ng survey kasi turista, bibili talaga ng souvenir yan, di ba? So kahit di nyo na gawin yun or kahit di nyo na itanong, di ba? So most likely yan eh. Ang problema mo lang dyan, walang repeat business. So you have to change your computation based on that. Okay? Kasi ito medyo commodity siya, so may repeat business siya, kaya ang frequency niya mataas. Sa atin kasi, for the souvenir, that's one time lang, one time big time. Okay? For the days pa naman, 'di ba? Let's say kung nagpapagupit siya, ilang beses ba? Eh di assume niyo na lang isang beses isang buwan. So yun naman yung pinaka normal, 'di ba? Minsan kaya nila gumastos na 3 times a month. Pero syempre that is very ostentatious or parang medyo unusual na yon. So normally pag nagpapagupit, nagpapakulay, nagpapamasahe, pag masahe yata twice or thrice, no? So, depende po sa services nyo. Mag-concentrate na lang kayo sa isang service para madali siyang computein. Okay? So, ganun ang gawin nyo. Okay? Now, based on that, okay, pagtugmain mo na ngayon, your total projected demand, ito siya. Saan galing yung demand mo? So, basically, galing po siya dun sa analysis ng survey mo, no? Or you can use my formula or you can create your own interpolation of your data. For example, ang total projected demand ko is 178,531. That is based on the total population. And then, I asked them sa survey ko kung bumibili sila ng itlog. And then, 70% of the respondents answer yes. So, baling kukunin ko na lang is, i-assume ko na lang na 70% of the total population is my target market. Okay, that will be equivalent to my target projected demand. Okay, that is 1,700, 1,700, 1,078, 178,531 trays. Okay, trays to. Trays. Okay. Okay. And then, my total projected supply, okay, based on my competitors and substitutes. So, kung let's say, ilan ba yung napoproduce namin? Nasa 68,000 lang. So, meaning to say, may demand or may demand gap malaki eh. Ito yung mga gustong bumili. Okay, sorry. Sorry. Okay. Nagalaw. Ito yung mga gustong bumili. Ito lang available. So, may kulang sa merkado, no? So, makikita mo talagang may kulang. So, dahil may kulang, pwede ka pa magtayo ng negosyo. That is basically the importance of this for commodity. And not only commodity, it's also applicable for your business like camp van or bed and breakfast, no? Kasi syempre, you want to make sure ilan ba yung tourist arrival or ilan ba yung mga nangangailangan ng bed and breakfast. So, how would you identify that? Of course, they are the tourists. So, sa tourist ko, ilan ba dyan nagbe-bed and breakfast? Kasi normally when the tourist comes here in the Philippines naman, meron na siyang accommodation and they go for the hotel. Bihira ang bed and breakfast doon. So let's say you assume na 10% lang or 5%. Okay. So according to your study, 5 or 10%. Okay. So out of the total population ng tourists sa buong Manila, particularly if we can zoom into your particular region or particular area or local, so 10% now will be your total projected demand. So ganun lang siya. Let's say ang 10% ang tourist arrival natin nasa 7 million. Ang sabi sa survey nyo out of out of 100% na tinanong nyo, randomized naman is 5% lang po ang gumagamit ng bed and breakfast. So 7 million, 5% of that is quite a big number. So that will be your total projected demand. Tapos, tanongin nyo ngayon or research nyo, ilan ba yung bed and breakfast suppliers natin sa Malate or sa Manila? Paano nyo hanapin yun? Siyempre, nasa galing nyo na yun, di ba? Nasa abilidad nyo na yun. Siyempre, kasama siya sa studies natin. So if I were you, hahanapin ko siya sa registry or sa isang government site kung saan nandoon lahat ng aking mga kalaban. Okay? Next. And then, pagbabanggain ko na yan. So, ito, tulad na yung ginawa ko dito. Year 1, okay, demand ko ganito yung bibili, ganito yung available na ibenta or ganito ang units ng demand, ganito ang units ng supply. So may kulang ng 61% or may kakulangan ng 109,000 units, no. So ibig sabihin, pwede pa ako mag-supply. Tapos if you see the progression sa demand, tumataas din ang demand eh. Yung supply mo tumataas din. Kaso lang syempre mas mabilis ang taas ng demand kasi nga at the beginning very underserved naman talaga siya. So pwede pa ako. There is a vacancy of 59% or almost 60%. And that makes me possible talagang mag-serve dito kasi hindi pa tayo overkill or hindi pa tayo masyadong overly competitive dito sa lugar natin. Okay? So, gano'n lang naman siya. Tapos, for market share, actually, kahit di yun na yung market share yan eh. Kasi alam naman natin, less than 1% kayo. Or 1%. Kasi nga, bago naman kayo, paano kayo magkakaroon ng diba? Ng customer agad. So, wag nyo na i-assume. I-assume nyo na lang na 1%. Okay. Kung makuha mo yung 1%, nakaka-break even ka ba? So, yun na lang para at least feasible siya. Okay? So now, kung medyo nalilito kayo, what is addressable market, target market, general market, or what we call mass market, balikan nyo po yung video ko. Saka, syempre, may pa-quiz po ito. Okay? Yun lang. Also, you can also use the previous format. I think mas madali siya. Ginamit ko lang tong format na to for illustration purposes. Saka yung example ko dito, itlog. Okay? Egg. Kasi nga para mas vivid yung example ko. Tapos you can relate that to your service or yung product nyo, let's say hotel accommodation or souvenir. Ang problema kasi sa mga product na yan is wala siyang repeat business. One time, big time. For bags, hindi ko lang alam kasi kaya nga kayo nagpa-survey, kaya nga kayo nagpa-study, 'di ba? Para itanong 'yan. Now, sir, paano kung hindi survey yung ginamit kong instrument? Okay lang din, based doon sa interview or based doon sa insight na nag-gather nyo o based doon sa demand na, let's say, nag-market testing kayo ng bags or gamit. Okay. Ilan ba yung bumili out of 100? Okay? Kung ilan yung bumili out of 100, yun ang gawin yung measurement, 'di ba? Kasi yun eh, 'di ba? Yun yung number. Saka normally, 'di ba, pag survey kasi it's qualitative. So mabibilang mo talaga siya. Maka-quantify mo. Pag qualitative kasi interview or yun nga test buying, insight siya. So more of why, 'di ba? Pero for me kasi this is very practical or very business like siya. So, sa business kasi, hindi naman lahat ng bagay na may measure mo eh. Sometimes it also matters yung gut feeling. So, kasi mas ako maniniwala ako sa test buying kaysa sa market survey. Kasi nga, sa market survey, nagtatanong ka lang. So, wala talagang commitment. Siyempre, may bias din yung mga yan, di ba? They would answer yes kahit hindi. Pero if you're floating it for a test bar or a actual simulated buying, nagbebenta ka na at yun na pagbenta mo, yun na yung idea natin, di ba? Yun na yung magiging trend talaga ng product nyo. Okay? So from that, you can also stipulate or project it based on your projection. Okay? So these are, of course, hindi naman siya 100% sure. What is important here is, number one, your population or target market population is growing so that it will support your future expansion. Second, there is a perceived demand and supply gap. Gusto natin at least above 40% siya. So for this case, 60%. That's very outstanding. Okay? So gusto natin malaki. The more na malaking gap, the more na masaya. Okay? Hindi kasi pwede tayo mag-exist sa 10% or 5%. Mukhang maling lugar ang pinasukan mo. Masyado ng competitive. Hindi tayo kaya lumaban dyan. Okay? So that's all for this one. So hopefully you're now doing your market research and then you're tabulating the result. And then from your research or market survey or any other instrument, you can now project your demand and supply analysis. Okay? Thank you very much. Bye-bye.